Here's the 5 areas where every young entrepreneur should focus. Number 1 is time. How are you using your time? I tell young entrepreneurs, you have the greatest gift, the thing that you can't buy more of, the thing that you can't trade for, the thing that you can't negotiate, which is time. You could mess up for the next 10 years and still be in an amazing position to move forward. Or you could tactfully use this time in order to set yourself up for greater gains later. I believe so strongly in the idea of compound interest. So as a young entrepreneur, what are you doing today that's going to beget you future results as you grow in your career and as you grow in your business? How are you using your time? How are you using your actions? How are you using your drive in order to move you forward? I also encourage you to be really careful with how you spend that time with other people. Something I learned very early on in building my business and my career was that I had to be exceptionally intentional with my time, which meant that I couldn't give it away for no reason. So if I'm going to spend time with someone, it's going to be for intention. If it's a relationship that I have, I want to make sure that I'm actually going to connect with them. We're not going to sit side by side on the couch or at dinner scrolling through our phones on Instagram. We're going to make our time together count. If I'm going to use my time with a mentor or a role model who's going to show me something forward, I'm going to come to that meeting prepared so that I can make sure that I'm there intentionally and I'm using that time intentionally in order for me to create better actions for my future. The next principle that I encourage every entrepreneur to focus on is your relationships. Your relationships are going to have the biggest impact on your future. I would argue above everything else. Not only in your friend relationships, who you're spending your time with, your romantic relationships, who you're spending your time with day to day. Most of us have heard the old adage, you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time around. It's true, by the way. It's not just about the relationships that you're spending the most time with, it's also about the relationships that you create in business. I've come to understand that so many of the opportunities that I've been given, so many of the ways that my company's been able to grow, and so many of the business opportunities now that I've been given have been through my relationships. How are you intentionally connecting to other people, intentionally creating relationships that are going to further your life? What are you there to learn? What are you there to give back if you have something that you can give back to people? How are you creating relationships for the next generation behind you? How are you creating relationships and connections for yourself in order for you to be able to move forward, in order for you to be able to leverage those relationships in business? The next principle that I encourage every young entrepreneur to make peace with is embrace the suck. Listen to me. Success is simple, but it's not easy. It's not easy. It's going to take work and faith and focus and courage and hours of devotion. And guys, the clock is ticking and the world is spinning, and you simply don't have time anymore to think small. So embrace the suck, make peace with the fact that great results come from focused, intentional action. And by the way, a big life never promised to be an easy one, so we need to give up the lie that it's supposed to be. Embrace the suck, do the hard work so that you can get the results and you can continue to compound that into your dream life. The 4th principle is that you have to take action. It's not enough to think about it. It's not enough to pontificate about it. It's not enough to prophesize about it. You have to do it. You have to take action. More often than not, you're not going to know the perfect path forward, but in implementing an imperfect plan, in taking action on an imperfect plan, we often find the best path forward. But you have to move. You have to do it. Do the work. Take the action. Otherwise, you won't know the best path forward. You'll only have a beautifully written business plan that sits in your drawer and nothing ever comes of it. You have to take action. And the last and final principle that I would leave you with for every young entrepreneur is not about what you want to do. It's not about how much money you want to make. It's not about what type of success you want to create. It's who do you want to be? Who do you want to be? And as a result of becoming that person, what might you also achieve? It's not about the what, it's about the who. So when you're looking at your life, think about who do you need to become in order to create that dream life? Because if you can focus on becoming the type of person who has that dream life, everything else will fall into place. So what skills do you need to acquire? How do you, the human being, need to grow? How do you need to create relationships? Who do you need to become to get into better relationships? What habits do you need to create? Who do you need to become in order to guarantee that you would create that dream life around you? Go out there and build those visions.